Hey everyone, Saiclone here. Today I'm doing a video about my strategy framework in League of Legends, brought to you by bamboo.gg. After you watch this video, you should be able to evaluate your own games against my framework to find areas you can improve on. This framework is based on principles that haven't changed since the game was released. This means you can use them to understand what to do in any situation on any patch. The video format is a series of questions and answers so you can see how the ideas in the framework fit together. You can think about the framework as a list of priorities, with each idea taking its value from how it supports the ideas above it. I'll also cover how to have more control and influence in the game to increase your chances of winning. First question is, what do you have to do to win a League of Legends game? You must kill 3 towers in the same lane, an inhibitor, both Nexus towers, and the Nexus. And you have to do it before the enemy team achieves that same goal. I call these the core objectives because they are the bare minimum you need to do to win the game. Any other actions you take in the game should be linked to how they will help you destroy the next core objective. Remember, you're also in a race against the other team, so you want to choose the set of actions which most reliably destroys all the core objectives before the other team. What kind of actions am I actually talking about? Taking Baron, dueling in a side lane, roaming from your lane, or even basing for a certain item. We won't worry about all the specifics today. The main principle for you to go and explore in your games is every action needs to be in service of achieving the next core objective. That means everything you do in the game can be traced back to a core objective. In case you're struggling to understand what the next core objective is at any given time, here's a rule. The core objective is to destroy one structure in the deepest layer of structures you have access to. The second question is, why do we kill extra towers if they aren't necessary to win the game? Simply put, it's because killing extra towers usually makes it easier to access the next core objective. When you push into enemy territory, it's easier for them to flank you or get a numbers advantage, which makes that push unsafe. If an action is unsafe, it usually isn't reliable and means that you're hoping the enemy team makes an error. If a situation is unreliable, you aren't in control and therefore you should avoid it. Taking a tower in the adjacent lane makes it easier to push and control the jungle around the next core objective. It's not necessary, but it does increase the reliability and therefore your control. It also means you make it harder for the enemy to retaliate, which also lowers the progress they make towards their core objectives if you do make a mistake. When you move to an adjacent lane to pressure a tower, I call that sideways pressure. Think about the tower like a pimple that you want to pop. Squeezing it from 2 sides is more effective than pushing it from one side. And my apologies for the mental image. All this means the first tower in a layer is the hardest to destroy because you have the least ability to safely get a 2-sided squeeze. Once you have broken a tower, you can push that lane in and move to squeeze another tower. There's another reason to take towers in adjacent lanes. If you walk to another lane and your opponent isn't there, you can proactively create a numbers advantage. When you create a numbers advantage, you are controlling the game. When you depend on your teammates to come to you, you are asking them to take control of the game. Question 3. What happens if you just roam all the time? Well, your lane opponent will push into your tower and start working on their own core objectives. You'll also miss out on collecting golden experience, and eventually you'll be so much weaker you can't threaten to do anything. If that happens, you'll lose your ability to impact the core objectives at all. Question 4. When are good times then to put pressure towards a core objective? Ideally, you have pushed your minion wave into their tower. This means the enemy is forced to choose between collecting resources and stopping your pressure on the core objective. If they choose to collect the wave first and then make a counter move, there's a period of time where you have an advantage. This is called having tempo or priority. If you do have a tempo advantage, it's expensive for the enemy to catch up. Usually they need to use teleport, or miss a significant amount of farm, or even give up an objective. However, your advantage only lasts until they catch up to you, so you need to be decisive. Question 5. If you want to create a tempo advantage, what is the criteria to push your wave into their tower? Well, you just need to be able to push harder than they can. This usually happens when your champion has a lot of AoE spells, shorter cooldowns, or higher basic attack DPS. The alternative is you can stop someone from pushing a wave faster than you by having kill threat. If you can kill them for using a spell on the wave or getting too close, it's better for them to avoid pushing. And if they decide to let you push, they're giving you permission to get a tempo advantage and go pressure a core objective somewhere else. What this means is your champion's strength and your skill at harassing, all-inning, and trading with your lane opponent are incredibly important to creating pressure so you can control the game. Question 6. What if you can't beat your opponent on your own? Then you have two options. The first is to get a numbers advantage by setting up a situation favourable for an ally to come help you, or farm safely until you are strong enough to push or have kill threat. Victory in League goes to the team who manages to destroy all 7 core objectives. Players who focus on creating pressure and applying it to core objectives win more and also learn more effectively. Remember, each action you take in the game should always be in service of taking the next core objective. The first tower in a layer is always the hardest to take, and getting a numbers advantage from your priority is the easiest way to pressure an objective. Your ability to farm, ward, path, or beat another player is important because it lets you push, and use that push to pressure core objectives. That makes it critical both for you to keep working on your skills and your understanding of how to use pressure to influence the map. Next time you have a game you're not happy with, I suggest you go back and watch the replay with this framework of objectives in mind. If you want more resources or even some practice partners, come join our Discord community. There you'll find tools for players and coaches who are working on a more deliberate path to mastery than simply grinding solo queue. We also offer coaching for every level right up to professional play based on this framework. Thanks for listening, and until next time, good luck and have fun.